Welcome to Booking It. Today's episode will be
No way,
The Odyssey.
Yes.
The Odyssey.
No, we're keeping that in.
No.
Yeah, we are.
Odyssey books 22 through 24, part 7.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, this is what happens whenever Cooper leaves. This
We're back, guys, and this is going to be fun. Cooper is not here. I mean, y'all can already tell after that beautiful intro.
Yes.
So I'm here, Bryson. Welcome on in, guys. Across from me, I have Tanner Lewis.
Howdy, folks.
And to his left, I have Isaiah Ritsky.
Wait, what? Who's left? Also, hi.
To my left.
That's Tanner's right. That's your left, Bryson.
But stop trying to confuse me.
Whoa.
But
That's my right?
This is going to be a great episode, guys.
I was trying to figure it out in my mind.
Can
It just
Tanner
didn't work.
distinguish between right and wrong if he can't distinguish between right and left?
That's already very questionable. Okay. All that aside, we are talking about the Odyssey today, and
The end of the Odyssey.
this is the very end. I can't believe
Everyone
it, guys.
dies.
Well, all the people that need to die die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone, except Odysseus.
Yeah. So we finally made it to the end of this after how long? A few months of reading this.
Too many, man.
Isaiah still has not been won over. He does not agree that we should have read this.
I mean,
But Isaiah's never been a
see that
fan of ancient lit.
yeah,
No.
that's what I was about to say. Like, I see how people could like it. I don't like it. I don't see the point of it. It's hard to understand. It's in a poem form. It's a messed up
It's too
story.
hard. I quit. No. So
Yeah.
what about you, Tanner? As we're finishing this up, what are you excited at all to be wrapping this up? Are you sad that we're finally done?
I'm not going to lie. Every time I've opened up this book, and one of the reasons that I don't love it as much is because I can't seem to open it up to a page without, like, terrible language. Like, in
Wow.
English.
Wow.
Like, I just opened it up. I kid you not. And on page, whatever this is, 453 of our books, I'm not even going to read it out loud.
Please
That's
no.
just the kind of language I open up to in this book.
And I hardly ever see that. So
Really?
I mean, I do.
This
see
one
it.
was on. Come on. This one was on an isolated line at the bottom of the page.
Okay. Well, I for one am just super excited that we're finally finishing this. I mean, I talked about it last week. Just how I can't believe we're finally done with this and ending on chapter 21 or book 21. I got really excited with that final movement of Odysseus finally claiming his throne, stringing the bow, being able to accomplish the task. And finally the Beggar King is taking back over his home. And then we move into the next 3 books. We want to go ahead and somewhat sarcastically summarize. I got to start changing the name to somewhat sarcastically.
It's not even that. It's just us summarizing it, and we just say it's sarcastic.
Yeah,
for some
just taking a long time to summarize, basically.
reason.
Well,
Yeah,
the
essentially,
Fantastic part. Go ahead.
I'll start with book 22.
Okay, yeah, book 22.
Very, very short summary. I'll give 2. The first one, he kills everybody, all the suitors. But essentially, the actual summary is like it starts off right after he like shot the bow, and then like it starts off with him turning and shooting Antonius, and however you say his name,
Yeah.
Antonius, shooting him in the neck, and the shooters are all like shocked for a second, like was that an accident? Did that actually happen?
Yeah, exactly.
And then him and all the people that were loyal to him, the servants and all that, like basically had a whole battle with the guys, and then Athena joined in but didn't help, just kind of like
Yeah, she just kind of like
tested
stood
him.
over them.
Yeah, and was like, you fight, go. And then eventually she joined, and all the suitors got killed, and all of Odysseus' men, none of them got killed, none of them got very badly hurt. It was just like, hurt slightly.
And there's
or anything.
4 of them.
Yeah, and that's it, 4 of them against a bunch of suitors. They killed all of them with spears, swords, all this stuff. And then, is it in this one where they have the all the like servants that were on the suitor side, like clean up all the bodies of them and like basically clean up the whole mess and clean up all the blood, and then they take them outside and execute them?
That's the one. That's the page that I opened up to. Guess what
Right?
he says in that pit?
No.
He
and
used language in order to convey how
Yeah.
low down and terrible.
Was
the
that in this one?
Mhm.
Where he takes them out? They were sent on site. Yeah.
book
and then he
22,
executes them.
page 453?
And then the
Yes, we know,
final
Danny.
guy, the traitor dude.
Yes, we know where the dirty stuff is.
Melantus?
Just double checking.
Yeah, that guy is
Yeah.
then finally tortured and killed. And after the bloodbath, Odysseus has the house fumigated.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
is that's just like I'm literally reading a summary
And
at the
then
end.
that kind of leads into book 22,
Yep.
where then the Euryclea, I'm pretty sure that's how we say her name, the head servant,
I have no
the
clue
head
how to say
maid.
it. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the head maid. She goes and she goes to Penelope and she's like, "Well, good news. All the suitors are dead." Imagine that. Like she's
They're
just been sleeping, and of course her first reaction is, "No way. That's not possible." She can smell though the fumes of everything being cleansed, and is like, "What on earth? What is going on?" So and but the maid, she does say, and you're not gonna believe this, but Odysseus is back.
Yep.
And
Isn't it so nice to be able to wake up in your own home knowing that a small war has been waged underneath your home while you were sleeping?
yeah,
wouldn't say that's
over
nice.
that's
you,
why she does not
over
believe it.
you of all things. Like
Have
it's
you
not
not-
even just like, oh, a small war was waged. Like my family members got like, at odds. No, it was over me.
Yeah.
But like,
And I was
how does
peacefully
she not wake up?
Well, I
Like
mean,
you're not gonna
we're
hear like
kind of-
all the suitors like dying.
that's why we're kind of told multiple
Penelope
times that
is a
Athena,
diva.
Athena kind of
You
like
can feel it.
gives her rest.
She radiates diva.
Athena gives her rest, or
Yeah.
a
Just like she blinded her and made her deaf and all that stuff.
yeah,
all those
she
other
did it
ones.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Took away her senses. But
Still, though.
yeah, that's something that I want to compare later. Just Penelope to Helen of Troy, and just like the similarities, the differences between them, and they were like small war, big war. Both were fought over these women. Why were they worth fighting? But anyway, moving on. So, in book 22, Odysseus finally meets Penelope as himself, and he reveals himself to her. She doesn't believe him. Then he gives a story about how their bed was made and how it was basically their whole house, basically, he says, was built around the bed. Like, what on earth?
Yeah, it's a bit strange. If
I don't know if this is all supposed to be symbolic and just say that literally their whole house has been built around their bed and the symbols of them being together, or literally they built the bed and then the house around it.
To the Greeks, they might have just done both.
Yeah, I can see that.
Fair.
They're those kind of people.
Yeah, they put that much weight and importance.
Exactly.
On
the things that they do important.
Yeah.
I didn't say.
But well, yeah, but they didn't deem. I don't think they deemed marriage in and of itself important. They deemed the things that came with marriage as important. Because I mean, we see what is it with Agamemnon and his wife at the very beginning of the book. She obviously didn't consider marriage that highly of a thing to keep or maintain. And obviously once he's murdered, he doesn't either. He's like, "Oh, marriage, that stuff stinks. My wife was awful." I mean, what else is he gonna say? His wife helped conspire to murder him. So I don't know, but we do see a beautiful picture of Odysseus and his wife and a marriage that does work in this society, because all we've heard really so far, except maybe with Hector and his wife in the Iliad, every relationship we've heard of so far has just been utterly disastrous. Or
transactional.
Yeah, like we have Helen of Troy with Menelaus at first, and then she is whisked away by Paris, and that starts the whole war that the Iliad follows. That that marriage didn't work out too well. They were not very faithful to each other, and Menelaus obviously didn't do the right things to prevent that war from happening either. It was he shared part of the blame. It was not just Helen. He could have done many things to prevent that from happening, such as responding to Paris's taunts and schemes at the very beginning instead of letting them draw out and become this thing to where his wife basically elopes with Helen. I mean, with Paris, and then he just took my wife. And then he gets all these people from his country to then go and fight in this 10-year-long war.
Yep.
So I think that's a sign of a marriage that didn't work out.
Just a little bit.
Then we have Agamemnon, like I said, coming back to his wife conspiring against him to then murder him. But the first in-depth picture that we've seen, what? Well, I said Hector and his wife. Yeah, so you want me to go over that too? I don't know. We didn't see a whole lot of Hector and his wife. Just kind of that one scene of. I know. If Cooper was here, he would be going a whole lot more into depth with that scene. Just can y'all help refresh my memory? Yeah.
Mom is asking about Hector and his wife, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't remember her name, but
I'm trying to remember the part you guys are talking about.
basically, she has said, "What worth is it to you if you defend our city and end up dying and leave me and our son?"
Oh, we're talking about the Iliad. I was like, where is this in the thing?
I know, we're going back to the Iliad. It all ties together, though. I mean, this is one continued story. These are two books, part of the same story.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, what are you going to say? Just...
I can't remember her name.
No, me neither. I can't remember her name.
But there's speech that she gives, and he... anyways.
Yeah.
Her speech was beautiful.
Yes, her speech was. I don't remember it very well.
No idea.
That was a long time ago.
So their marriage, what do you think about Hector and the picture that you do see, the snapshot that you do see of their marriage?
Yeah. I guess
Do you remember?
their marriage is not just of the physical type. It is very much something that they intend to last forever until they're old and gray. He's really struggling over, Hector is really struggling over whether he should be defending the whole city or defending just his wife and child in staying there with them. Because he can earn all sorts of glory and fame by going out and fighting and dying for his country, which he does. But especially for us as Christians, would we give him more? Would we side with him more if he had stayed with his family or if he had fought for his country? He left his family, which to us, if each of us has a family, that is our main. That is what God has given to us to protect, what God has given to us to grow, strengthen, to provide for. And when he abdicated, when he left his family, now Cooper's made some good points about him not going out solely for glory, solely for Kleos, but genuinely because he wanted to defend his city, because he wanted them to last. But he ended up leaving his wife and child and forsaking his main duty in life, which, I don't know, we can kind of say the same. Odysseus did the same thing. He was friends with Menelaus. Menelaus wanted him to go off to this war, and he was like, sure, sign me up. I'm going to leave my young son and wife, not knowing what's going to happen to them. Back then, they could have thought it was going to be 1 year war or something like that, and then stretches on and on to 10 years, and then he doesn't come back after the war for another 10 years. And so a lot of events and things happen that he didn't expect. True. For sure. But I don't know. Yeah, that's something I never really thought of. Thank you for pointing that out. Why do we tend to extend a whole lot more grace to one over the other? Why do y'all think? Because they both did the exact same thing. They both left their wife and child and had no idea when they were going to be coming back. I think, like Cooper has said, Hector did it for probably more auspicious, commendable reasons
Mhm.
than Odysseus did. I mean, he wasn't defending his home country. He
That's
wasn't defending his family name or honor or anything. He was just going out there to fight for his friend and
That's
to
true.
get his wife back.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's more of a
Talk about a family affair that ends up turning into massive, massive conflict over a whole country.
yeah. But I mean, people could argue that that's like fighting for his family though, because he's getting his wife back.
Yeah, Menelaus,
Yeah.
but not Odysseus.
That's true.
Odysseus is not getting his wife
Yeah,
back.
that's a good point. What am I
Odysseus'
saying?
Is like
Odyssey.
investment there.
It's just their glory, you know.
Yeah,
Cleos or the
How do you say it? Cleos?
yeah, the Cleos.
Okay.
Cleos is
Glory.
glory, and then
Cleos' glory. And then
so yeah, I mean, Odysseus does go through all these trials and things that we tend to be like, oh well, he's suffered a whole lot. Let's give him more grace for when he does come back home. And you kind of see it in all of his family too. They constantly are saying, oh, he must be stranded out in the ocean, or like hardly any of them say he's dead, or I think he's completely gone, never coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them say he's either dead and or lost at sea with some unimaginable fate
Yeah.
and just suffering eternal anguish,
Forever.
basically. Yeah. So yeah, I can definitely see how we might want to give a little more grace to him after all he's been through.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they're still in the same boat. I would argue.
yeah, they didn't make
Except
much
Odysseus
different
didn't have-
choices besides the fact that Odysseus didn't have to protect
Yeah.
anything. He was on the offensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, now this is justified.
This is what we have come to now, is him defending his own home. Like his country, most certainly, his home, definitely, his wife, very at the very center of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just keep zeroing in on what is he actually coming back to defend, because he gets to his home first, and he's super excited that he finally made it back home. Then he gets to his estate. He sees some of his servants that still love him, still wish for him to come back. He gets excited about that. He finally sees his son, reveals himself to his son. Really a deep, heartfelt moment there too. But you don't see the ecstasy, the joy, the finally, I have made it moment, until not when he's in his house, but he's finally met his wife again, finally in her presence with her knowing who he is. Anyway, that was book 23. We still haven't said anything about book 24 in summary. Summary. I know.
I just realized we're
I know.
18 minutes in.
We went off on a tangent, like always.
I thought you were just like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, I thought we were discussing at that
Yeah,
point.
same.
Yeah, so book 24 was
Entitled Peace.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you don't think of peace is not the first word that comes to mind when you're reading that whole chapter. I mean, like, the whole book, you're basically thinking, oh no, all of these men that were brothers, fathers of the slain suitors, are now angry. They're a hornet's nest that's been riled, and they're going to come get Odysseus. And so he goes and reveals himself to his father, and that's something we also need to talk about, just the interesting ways he reveals himself to, or proves himself to each of his family members or servants. But then also we get a really interesting picture of what's going on in the House of Death. That's that might be my favorite part of the book.
That was a cool scene.
After I don't know, Stringing of the Bow was really cool, but this is really, really great too. It starts with like Agamemnon and Achilles talking in the House of Death.
They're
and
arguing who had a better death.
Yeah, basically, my death was greater than yours. I earned more glory, and everyone's like, oh well, Achilles won that easily. He got the most glory.
It's pretty funny.
And then here comes Antinous and all the suitors, and they're like, "What? Y'all are fine young men. What did y'all die from?" And they basically go on to rehash the story in their own words of what happened, and they glorify Odysseus so much more than he really is creditable of. They basically give him credit for all of the the test of stringing the bow and all of the axes, when that was really Penelope. I mean, as far as we know, that was Penelope. And oh my gosh, we're gonna need to read that because that was so good. But yeah, just, and then like literally the end of the book is Odysseus killing like the guy leading this charge against him, and it's like, and then Athena said stop, and they stopped. That's like the end. That's the end of the book, and we're like, well, I guess this whole thing started with the gods. It better end with the gods too.
It's all about Athena and what she wants.
I mean, she just makes everyone kind of forget about how like Odysseus murdered like so many of the suitors.
Yeah,
and then just makes him king.
Honestly, this was just like Athena's like, what should I do for the next 7 years?
I know.
I'm kind of bored. I don't really know what to do.
All the excitement in Ithaca is gone.
Like, wait a second. Let's get Odysseus back from whatever. What's her name?
Calypso.
Calypso.
Yeah.
Let's get Odysseus back from Calypso. Send him on this wild journey. Let's make it really interesting. Let's guide him so that we can make it interesting in a way.
Yep.
You know.
And then all the parents of the suitors are going to try and get Odysseus back for killing their kids. Then Athena's just like, forget. Just like the Men in Black thing, like with the spray or whatever, or the thing, whatever it is.
Yeah, the little thing that makes you.
And then she's like,
is it?
I found something more interesting to do.
Something?
We could turn off this show now.
What?
We're done.
That's literally like what she did, though. She's like,
oh yeah.
oh, let's, and we're done. Forget.
Yeah.
And bada boom, bada bang.
Because like
the
with
show
all
is over.
The intensity.
Athena said stop, and it stopped.
Yeah, the intensity is just building up and building here in the last books, and then it just ends. That's just like, oh, okay, peace. Now we have peace. Okay, I guess she said there's peace, so there must be peace.
I was like, I want to see a whole battle between him and the parents. You know,
So ironic. The gods have like, we're always talking about whether the gods actually have power or not. I feel like this book is a testament to the fact that Athena has some kind of power over men.
Yep.
Oh my god.
When other gods aren't fighting with her over what they want.
Yeah. So going back to just how each of these friends or family members of Odysseus were revealed, what was y'all's favorite out of all those? Which did you think like hit the hardest, or just made the most sense? I don't know.
Wait, what? Sorry.
Out of all the people that Odysseus revealed himself to, which was your favorite reveal or made the most sense?
I didn't hear who. I just heard revealed himself to, and I'm like,
who? Yeah. No, I'm saying who was your favorite?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of like the one with.
Do you have an idea, Tanner?
I think I like the. I don't want to say this prematurely, because I might go back on my decision. I'm gonna have to say it was the one with Penelope, like where he was talking about like the bed.
Yeah.
I like that.
That was something like he said. No one else knows this except
like,
for
this
you
is
and
me.
one servant, and I built the bed.
Yeah.
I'm the one who slept in that bed. Like I have all of the history that no one else does.
I can tell you everything, and it would take a miracle or a god to tell you, like to tell you something.
To tell you
I
what
don't
I'm telling
know.
you. Yeah.
Like right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one that hit hardest for me.
Yeah. Going back to, I don't know if this was book 20 or 19, but I think I did really like the one with Penelope, but Eumaeus the swineherd, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first one that was revealed. Oh, no. Telemachus was the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the swineherd, when he found out it was him, he's just ecstatic and like he
freaking out.
I think he's the first one that like believes him almost right away.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well,
Someone
because
might need
he
to
heard like
correct
the
me on
little
this, but-
lies and all of the
Yeah.
stories. He's like, That doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
And in the story, I mean,
Remember when he slipped up and he's like, I mean Odysseus.
yeah. No, out of everyone in the story, I think he was probably one of the easiest people to put myself in his shoes. Just the faithful servant that's been slogging through all the mess of the suitors for 5-7 years, just unending, always taking care of what his master told him to take care of, which were his pigs, and still doing his job faithfully, working his best, but having to give it all away to these men that he knew didn't deserve it, that he did not respect, that he would take action against if he could, but he didn't think he had the strength or the will. But yeah, when Odysseus reveals himself to him, he's like, well, first, before he even does, he says, Odysseus asks him if he'd be willing to fight for him, if Odysseus did come back. And he's like, oh my goodness, yes.
Absolutely.
He and the cowherd. And then Odysseus reveals himself to them as like, great, you're signed up. We're going to fight like tomorrow. Like, what? Yeah.
I knew I would enlist, but I didn't know how soon.
Yeah.
Right.
But then, so that's one of my favorite, or that is my favorite. But then kind of comparing some of his family members. I'm having trouble remembering how he really reveals himself to Telemachus. I feel like that was the easiest out of his family.
Telemachus, yeah. That's his son, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that one definitely seemed like it was the easiest one.
And then he reveals himself to Penelope through the bed, the story of the bed, through to Euryclea, the housemaid with the scar, and then he goes to his father's house after he's already cleansed the house of the suitors, and first he just watches him. He's in his garden wearing tatters and rags. He kind of represents who Odysseus came back as. He's like, those are the first words we read about him, is he saw his father there in rags and tatters and patches, working. Like, for some reason, from what I had read earlier, I thought, he's just super sorrowful like Penelope and just spends all his time in his room doing nothing but weeping for his lost son. But no, he's out there working. He's still being faithful to the land.
Yeah.
And but he doesn't have the same vigor or the same fire that he did before.
Yeah.
And his son comes back. He doesn't taunt to him or anything. He doesn't make up, or he does, doesn't he? He kind of starts to make up a fake story. I'm pretty sure, talking to Laertes, his dad, but he just starts breaking down in tears, and is like, and Odysseus decides, no, I'm not gonna put him through this. I'm not gonna put him through this anymore, and decides to just right there say, it's me. I'm Odysseus. Like,
don't worry.
Yeah,
I'm alive.
There's no reason you need to be fearful. I'm your son. I'm back.
I'm back.
That's kind of like a strange inverse of the prodigal son story. Like, he did go away to win his glory and do the things that not he thought were fun, but that he wanted to do instead of what he needed to do. And he ended up being changed through the whole journey. He went to the house of death. He's literally, we're supposed to see him as a new man. And so he comes back, but his father is not the one that is excited to see him, that recognizes him immediately. It's the son that knows who he is. It's the son that is excited that, and it's kind of the father that needs to be welcomed back in. At least that's kind of how I've seen it. But I just kind of wanted to, where is this? Go over, read some of the, where is it? In the house of death, what's going on with, where is it? Yeah, right here. When the suitors go down to the house of death.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy. Where is it? It's in beginning of book 24. They're just talking about how Penelope lied to them for like 3 years, just saying that she was weaving the shroud to lay on Laertes when he died, to cover him, and for 3 years she would weave it in the day and unweave it at night. And then she was like, "I'm not going to marry any of you until I finish weaving this." She did that for 3 years.
Yeah,
Impressive.
crazy.
That's
definitely
what
not.
I'm getting at. The suitors were not there to marry a woman they loved.
They were there to eat his pigs.
I was
Pretty
going to go
much.
with money, but okay.
Same thing. Resources. Take
Yeah.
all of his resources, his wealth.
I mean, what's the difference in early Greece?
Yeah. So I want to paraphrase this, but it's kind of hard to. Reading from about book 24, line 170. This is the suitors in the house of death. They're dead. These are their ghosts speaking to Agamemnon and Achilles. Telemachus first, in fact, Odysseus followed, later led by the swineherd and clad in tatters, looking for all the world like an old and broken beggar, hunched on a stick, his body wrapped in shameful rags, disguised so none of us, not even the older ones, could spot that tramp for the man he really was, bursting in on us there, out of the blue. No, we attacked him, blows and insults flying fast, and he took it all for a time in his own house. All the taunts and blows, he had a heart of iron. I like how they compliment him even after death. They're like, yes, they don't, I don't know, I'm going to keep reading, but they kind of admit a bit of their fault. But this is definitely just like, yeah, Odysseus is really the man. Like, I don't know why. Once we realized he came back, there was like zero hope for us. we had infracted and crossed this line that once we had crossed, there was no hope of turning back.
No coming back.
No. But once the will of thundering Zeus had roused his blood, he and Telemachus bore the burnished weapons off and stowed them deep in a storeroom, shot the bolts, and he, the soul of cunning, told his wife to set the great bow. And they give him credit for that. When I don't know, the gods didn't. We haven't even read that in the book, that the gods really spurred her on to have that idea. We're just told Penelope's like, okay, I give up. Let's have a test. Which, I mean, you could easily say the gods put it in her mind to do that at the right time. To set out the gleaming iron axes before the suitors, all of us doomed now to test our skill and bring on slaughter. Not one of us had the strength to string that powerful weapon. All of us fell far short of what it took. But then, when the bow was coming round to Odysseus' hands, we raised a hue and cry. He must not have it, no matter how he begged. Only Telemachus urged him to take it up. And once he got it in its clutches, long-suffering great Odysseus strung his bow with ease and shot through all the axes. Then, vaulting onto the threshold, stood there, poised and pouring his flashing arrows out before him. Glaring for the kill, he cut Antinous down, then shot his painful arrows into the rest of us, aiming straight and true. And down we went, corpse on corpse in droves. Clearly a god was driving him and all his henchmen, routing us headlong in their fury down the hall, wheeling into the slaughter, slashing left and right. And grisly screams broke from skulls scrapped open, and the whole floor was awash with blood. That's
pretty good.
Impressive.
That's quite the writing for sure. That's quite the story, secondly. And they're willing to tell, I mean, everything they know. I mean, they have nothing to lose. They're dead. But I don't know. Can you have pride in the House of Death? I mean, Agamemnon and Achilles were talking about it, so I guess so. But they had been like thoroughly humiliated.
Yeah.
It looks like Athena did speak into
Okay. Yeah. Miss Emily's showing me at the beginning of book 21, Athena does put it into the mind of Penelope to set up that test. But yeah. So, oh my
See,
goodness.
Athena just wanting her show.
Yeah,
Honestly, though.
exactly.
The
Okay.
master playwright that is the gods.
Yeah. I don't have anything else. Do y'all have anything else to add to that? I'm sorry. I feel like I've spoken too much in this,
No, you're
this
fine.
episode.
You're fine.
Anything else?
Sadly, my comprehension level when reading this wasn't the best. So
Comprehension level of reading what you did read.
I did read. I did read. Why is everybody so convinced that I didn't read?
I don't know. I feel like you told me that you
I
did.
can go back through like most of the podcast and be like, Tanner being like,
Tanner, didn't read there, didn't read there, didn't read there. Like
That's only the
the one
Odyssey.
episode you did read was the Lord of the Rings.
That's not entirely true. I've read most everything.
fair. Except recently with these ones. But it's fine. We're moving on. Whatever. All right.
The past is the past. We have a new book coming up. I
We
can
do.
prove myself.
Yeah.
I will
don't know if
read
it's gonna be any
every
better than
single
this.
one.
I know.
But
I've read much of the Odyssey because you and I read it much together.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
all right,
I haven't slacked as much as everybody thinks that I have.
Okay.
sure.
You haven't talked much about it.
It's
That's
true.
fair.
That's also because my comprehension level is being
Yeah.
blah.
But
All right.
anyway, where can Isaiah, since
Hold on. Let
Tanner's
him
coughing,
finish that,
where
yeah.
can
I'm done.
people go if they want to support us?
So if you want to donate to the podcast, you go to patreon.com/booking it and donate to any of our, or just donate to any of the tiers. If you want a shout out, though, it's to any of our tiers, $5 and up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, speaking of shout outs, today we're probably just going to actually just shout them.
No stories about peanut butter and jelly. or
Also,
French
go
fries
to
today?
412podcasting.com/blog if you want to see some amazing posts that me and Cooper have cooked up. And Bryson will have one up there as well soon.
Yeah. Have we still not posted that yet?
It will be up by
I'm
the
gonna
time
have
you guys
like
read
another
this.
3 by the time that gets out. Oh well.
Hey, it's all good. It's all
Yeah.
good.
So, for the sake of how long this one is, if it goes too much longer, we're going to have to end up paying more to
Really?
upload
We're already
it.
that long?
Yeah.
So
We're at,
run
like,
through
40.
them.
Whoa.
So donate
what I'm
to
gonna
us.
do-
That way we could give you a proper donor shout out. Go, Isaiah.
Right. I mean, it's still proper donor.
We
shout
wanna
out.
give
I'm
you
gonna say the
stories,
name,
but-
you guys just shout them out, I guess. So Nana,
Nana,
Yeah.
thank you.
Van Pappy and Wayla,
Babe,
Pappy
Happy and
and
Wayla,
Wayla.
thank you.
my grandparents.
Isaiah's grandparents, thank you so much.
Mike and Sylvia.
Yeah. Moses and Zara.
Moses and Zara, yeah.
And Jenny and Uncle Sam.
And Jenny and Uncle Sam, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
My parents, Mr. Mike and Miss Laura.
Mr. Mike and Miss
Mr.
Laura,
Miss Laura.
thank y'all.
Anna,
Anna, thank you.
Emily,
Emily, thank you.
Keenan.
Keenan, yes sir.
We got Howdy,
Howdy.
Amazing
Miss
man.
Jenny,
Miss Jenny,
Jenny.
thank you.
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Hall,
Thank you,
Mrs.
Miss Hall.
Will,
Will, thank you so much.
Thank you for donating.
and then Kara.
Kara. Awesome. Thank y'all so much,
thanks,
everybody.
guys.
Alrighty. That is
Well.
the end. Until next time.
Keep on booking it.
Wait, what?